impeachment trial of against Vice President Sara Duterte. And we were discussing a lot of issues, various issues. No? And I overheard you saying that the impeachment court is higher than the Supreme Court. Do you still stand by your statement that the impeachment court is higher than the Supreme Court? Because I am not a lawyer, but I studied law for 4 years, but I really beg to disagree that the impeachment court is higher than the Supreme Court, Mr. President.
Well, it is higher in the sense that a sitting Supreme Court justice can be dismissed on impeachment cases by the impeachment court. In that regard, we are able to hold a Supreme Court justice to account. We render judgment. So it's a novel legal question and legal argument.
You mean to tell this representation that we can summon the justices of the Supreme Court? What if they don't want to appear here? What can we do?
Well, we actually summoned.
Can we just force them to?
We actually
appear before
summoned.
the Senate?
With due respect to our colleague, we actually did have this former Supreme Court justice appear before the impeachment court.
Who?
So,
Yeah,
Justice
I know
Coleman.
that because it was an impeachment.
and that is the context of why I said that as an impeachment court, we are supreme in our own jurisdiction, and maybe in fact higher than the Supreme Court in that regard when it comes to impeachment processes. Because the Supreme law of the land says so, that we have the sole power. Sole, it says sole power. It does not say anything else but sole power to try and decide impeachment cases.
Well, still, I beg to disagree with your opinion. I still believe in my own thoughts that the impeachment court is sui generis. Will the good sponsor of the budget of the Judiciary yield to just a few questions?
Most willingly to our colleague, Senator Jinggoy Estrada.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. With regard to the pending cases of the Judiciary, may I know what is the average number of cases that they handle every year? In a year?
For lower courts in a year?
Yeah.
Yes, pumapasok. The average for a year would be close to 700,000 cases. For example, in January to December 2024, the total new cases filed was 698,541 for first and second level courts. This is RTC and MTC. Now, for January to June 2025 this year, we are now at 373,148 cases filed.
All right. May I know how many cases are pending before the courts, Mr. Chair?
Total cases pending before the first and second level, total case load as of June, from January to June 2025 is 1,016,000 cases. 1,016,354 cases.
That is the RTC and the MTC?
First
Only.
level and second level courts.
Bakit napakadami? 1 million plus?
It says here total case load.
No. What about the pending cases?
May we have a minute suspension?
All right. So, in order to expedite the budget hearing of the budget of the Judiciary, maybe we can request the committee to just submit
Yes.
the documents that I've been asking for.
We will submit the report, specifically the number of the caseload last year, and then the caseload this year as of June. In the first level, second level, Court of Tax Appeals, Sandigan Bayan, Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Jinggoy.
Thank you. Dahil sabi po ni Senator, our majority floor leader kanina, bakit mo ba tinatanong yun? Ba't mo pinabibilis yung kaso mo? Baka mauna raw ako. So, hindi ko na siguro tatanungin. Anyway, Mr. President, there are 41,587 permanent positions in the judiciary. May I know what is the reason for the 12,000 plus permanent positions that remain unfilled as of 2024?
Some are newly created positions, 12,000 of the 12,000 vacancies, and some are being processed for filling up. But I agree with the distinguished senator that that's a huge amount of vacancies, considering that's more than a fourth or about 1/4,
Are these
25%.
RTC, MTC, or all, including the
For all
all.
positions.
including the Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, and Digan Bayan?
That is correct, for all courts.
Do they plan to fill it up?
Yes,
All of these 12,000 permanent positions
well, yes, that is what they are saying.
in a year's time?
Yes, some cases are brought about by retirement or promotion or resignation or termination, which then creates these vacancies. In fact, I shared that with the JBC and the budget hearing that there has to be a catch-up plan to fill up these vacancies. Otherwise, baka they're just running in place. Habang nag-a-appoint at nagkakaroon ng new appointees, meron namang vacancy na nade-declare. No? So, that is the answer, sir.
All right. With regard to the COA findings, I am informed that the auditor rendered an adverse opinion on the fairness of the presentation of the financial statements of the Supreme Court as of December 31, 2024, due to various accounting errors and omissions amounting to 12.2 billion. May I know the explanation on this audit observation?
To Justice Villanueva and the court administrator, the COA findings of 2024, they have actually sat down with the Commission on Audit in a meeting, and wherein they discussed these findings, and they were asked to submit their explanation and compliance, and they have submitted this. So they are now awaiting the final report of the Commission on Commission on Audit. But for your honors, how do you call it? To respond to your questions, they are willing to submit the report that they submitted to the Commission on Audit.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, with regard to the gender and development, may I know what is the status of your spending for gender and development, persons with disabilities and senior citizens for 2024? Do you have a report on the utilization of the gender and development budget?
Well, the 5% is what is required. Yes. Accord. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes, according to our court administrator and the judiciary, they are actually compliant with the requirement of the law in terms of 5% utilization to fulfill with the gender and the allocations are as follows. For 2025, it's more than 5%, it's 7.27%. For the Sandigan Bayan, they're saying that it's about 36% for gender and development budgetary appropriate or support, Mr. President.
Thank you for the information, Mr. President. Last two questions, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Supreme Court issued a ruling declaring the impeachment complaint against the Vice President Sara Duterte unconstitutional last July 25, 2025. Am I correct?
That is correct, Mr. President.
And some of our colleagues, some senators, criticized that such decision undermines the separation of powers. Does the chairperson agree with this position, Mr. President?
This representation, you mean?
Yes.
Well, I manifested my position on the floor, and therefore that's on record, Mr. President.
I forgot what was your manifestation, Mr. President.
Well, Mr. President, our position, and we continue to share this position, continue to hold onto this position, is that that we believe that there was judicial overreach. But having said that, we hope that the Supreme Court will reconsider the position that it has taken. In fact, there is a pending motion for reconsideration.
So, in short, you disagreed with the position of the Supreme Court.
That is correct. And as a co-equal branch, we will be respectful. And we have said this too, that in the end, when this is final, when the decision is final and the motion for reconsideration has been disposed of, regardless, as a lawyer, a member of the officer of the court, we will respect whatever ruling the Supreme Court will
All right.
render.
Lastly, I remember, if my memory serves me right, we had an all-senators caucus meeting when Senator Escudero was still the Senate President. And we were discussing about this impending impeachment trial of against Vice President Sara Duterte. And we were discussing a lot of issues, various issues. No? And I overheard you saying that the impeachment court is higher than the Supreme Court. Do you still stand by your statement that the impeachment court is higher than the Supreme Court? Because I am not a lawyer, but I studied law for 4 years, but I really beg to disagree that the impeachment court is higher than the Supreme Court, Mr. President.
Well, it is higher in the sense that a sitting Supreme Court justice can be dismissed on impeachment cases by the impeachment court. In that regard, we are able to hold a Supreme Court justice to account. We render judgment. So it's a novel legal question and legal argument.
You mean to tell this representation that we can summon the justices of the Supreme Court? What if they don't want to appear here? What can we do?
Well, we actually summoned.
Can we just force them to?
We actually
appear before
summoned.
the Senate?
With due respect to our colleague, we actually did have this former Supreme Court justice appear before the impeachment court.
Who?
So,
Yeah,
Chief Justice
I know
Corman.
that because it was an impeachment.
and that is the context of why I said that as an impeachment court, we are supreme in our own jurisdiction, and maybe in fact higher than the Supreme Court in that regard when it comes to impeachment processes. Because the Supreme law of the land says so, that we have the sole power. Sole, it says sole power. It does not say anything else but sole power to try and decide impeachment cases.
Well, still, I beg to disagree with your opinion. I still believe in my own thoughts that the impeachment court is sui generis, and I think the impeachment court is sui generis, and I believe that the Supreme Court is still higher than anyone else, any court in particular, including the impeachment court.
In fact, Mr. President, in the impeachment case of Chief Justice Corona, when the Supreme Court issued a temporary restraining order, an injunction as to the bank accounts. I will remember this because the late Senator Enrile, who was our
Yes.
presiding officer, opted for us to vote on whether or not we would respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. In that regard, the vote was to respect the ruling.
I think that was only a resolution issued by the Supreme Court. It was not a decision.
No, it was a vote by the, I was there, Mr.
Yes,
President.
I was also there.
Yes,
I
you
was
were
also
there.
part
We
of the-
voted
I was
to
also part of
respect.
the
We
impeachment
voted to
trial.
respect 1210. We voted to respect the Supreme Court ruling.
Yes,
In
I
other
know.
words, we could have voted not to. But of course, that was not the case.
Yes, I know. I was.
And it was an exercise of our exclusive power as an impeachment court.
What if it was adverse to the decision?
Well, that's
of,
speculative,
the decision
Mr.
of the Supreme
President.
Court.
The
What
point
will
is,
happen?
that's speculative, Mr. President. The point is, we voted.
Yes, I
we
know.
did not decide to just respect the Supreme Court ruling. We voted as an impeachment court.
Yes, I
we
was-
exercised our authority as the supreme or the sole power, having the sole power and sole jurisdiction to try cases.
Yes, I was also one of them who voted to respect the decision or the resolution of the Supreme Court not to open the foreign, I think it was the foreign bank accounts of the late Chief Justice Corona. What I'm asking, kung sakasakali, what if the vote was overturned? I mean, 12-10 in favor of not respecting the opinion of the Supreme Court. What will happen?
Well, it's speculative, Mr. President.
No.
It didn't happen, so.
Yeah. Being a lawyer, maybe you can educate this representation because I am
Well,
not
also
a lawyer.
being a lawyer, if it's a speculative, if
Maybe we
I'm being
can-
asked to answer a scenario that's speculative, I'd rather wait for the actual case. In this actual, and what I'm citing is the facts that when the Supreme Court ruled to enjoin us from opening, accessing the bank accounts, we opted to vote whether we would respect the Supreme Court ruling or not. That is an exercise of the authority of the impeachment court over the Supreme Court.
Maybe we can ask.
Fortunately, and I think every lawyer must strive to harmonize what may appear to be conflicting provisions of the Constitution. And the Senate then voted 12-10 to respect the ruling of the Supreme Court and harmonize both powers.
Mr. President, if I may, with the
Yeah,
two
the
gentlemen.
leaders recognized.
Thank you. Even this last decision of the Supreme Court on Vice President Sara Duterte, we also voted 18-5-1. It was 18 in favor to archive because of the decision of the Supreme Court. So there was also a vote. 5 went against that decision to archive and 1 abstention. That's our presiding officer. So we also voted at that.
And that is the exercise. That is and I agree. That is an exercise of the impeachment court, and therefore it decided to archive the case in that regard. Oh, sorry, the vote to archive was not done by the impeachment court. It was done in plenary. Yes. So that would be a different set of facts.
All right. Okay, Mr. President. Does the Supreme Court has the authority to review the impeachment proceedings for grave abuse of discretion, for example?
The Supreme Court has the power to exercise. It has the when there is grave abuse of discretion, the Constitution provides that power to the Supreme Court to to intervene and to correct what may have been an abuse of authority or power of other branches of government. It's the power of judicial review.
Okay, assuming we convict a impeachable officer, can it be elevated to the Supreme Court? No more.
No.
The
The Sup-
decision or the ruling of the impeachment court is final.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Again, maybe you can ask the opinion of maybe the court administrator or the justices of the Supreme Court here present with regard to my question propounded to you, Mr. President, with regard to the who is higher, the Supreme Court or the impeachment court.
Well, I think considering that there is still a motion for reconsideration on the positions taken by the House of Representatives, and there is a pending case, then they would prefer, yes, kulang daw ng 12. Kaya, but kidding aside, it would be sub judice.
Okay. Anyway, that's all, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor. Thank you for the justices of the Supreme Court, the court administrator, and to all the justices present here today. Thank you very much.
Senator Lauren.
Thank you very much to the good senator from San Juan. Maraming salamat. Safe na ako.
Safe mga tanong mo.